This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 10th day of July in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Today's meeting of the Guyana Elections Commission ended after more than 2 hours with no final report being submitted by the Chief Election Officer after he sought a number of clarifications from the chairman of the Elections Commission. The GCOM chair has since responded, reinforcing her earlier request and requesting that the Chief Election Officer now submits his report on the elections by 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Government-nominated Commissioner Vincent Alexander told reporters that he believes the request for a clarification made by the CEO is fair, based on the chairperson's letter for the report and the CCJ's ruling on the election matter. He said there are several areas that appear to be contradicting each other.
Or offer clarity?
He sought clarity. She adjourned on the understanding that she would respond to his request for clarity, and has since issued a new letter to him requesting him to present a report by tomorrow at 11.
On what basis? What would be the parameters of that report that she wants?
I don't think it differs significantly from the original request.
And where do you see the commission going from here if there is no major difference?
First of all, it's a matter of him presenting a report. In the commission, there's obviously not going to be a unanimous position, because if that report is a reflection of what came out of the recount, whilst we supported the recount in its totality, with what has been said about the recount, one could no longer logically say that we can produce a result coming out of the recount.
Mr. Alexander said the CCJ may have thrown the entire process in a conundrum.
But they have said we cannot produce something under a different regime. That's a qualitative statement, it's not a quantitative statement. It's either yes or no.
But we're talking about valid votes.
They talked about not being able to produce a result under a new regime. New regime meaning what the order provided for.
And he also repeated his earlier position that GCOM may be forced to make no declaration.
My disposition is that this election should be a non-declaration. And I've made that position clear publicly.
But does GCOM have the legal authority to do that?
GCOM has the authority to produce a result. If you can't, you can't. You don't have to get the law to do that. If you can't, you can't.
But a can't is a result?
It's not a result.
But
it's a situation. But real.
But does it have the legal authority to produce a situation?
I am saying that my understanding, there's nothing that says it can't do that.
Well, so what is the legal basis?
I'm also saying that if GCOM deserves its inability to produce a result, because for whatever reason, that's what GCOM has to do.
Meanwhile, opposition-nominated GCOM Commissioner says Gunraj said he believes the GCOM chair was very clear in her letter, and he cannot understand the clarification request being made by the Chief Election Officer.
You'll recall that after the CEO provided his report, pursuant to, I believe, section paragraph 12 or 13 of that order, what we also did, we discussed it in depth. And the commission made a decision which he had to act pursuant to. So all of that was made very, very clear to him. And as a consequence, it is now unfortunate, to say the least, that the CEO has chosen to act in this regard.
Mr. Gunraj said it needs to be made clear that the Chief Election Officer is a creature of the Elections Commission and therefore should follow the instructions of the GCOM chair.
The law dictates that the CEO is a creature of the commission, and if he fails to carry out the lawful instructions of the commission, obviously that has to be met with consequences, and there are a raft of consequences which can flow from that. If you're an employer, and the employment laws cater for that, as are several employment practices, if you fail to carry out, like I said, there are many disciplinary actions that can be taken. What must be borne in mind here is that the nation is waiting for these results.
Guyanese have been waiting the results from the election since the 2nd of March. It's now over 4 months since Guyanese went to the polls and voted in the 2020 elections. More news coming up in just a moment.
Hello, boys and girls. As you prepare to write your exams, there are a few things you will have to do each day so that you and those around you can be safe and healthy. Please remember, on the day of your exam, you must wear a mask correctly, covering your mouth and nose before entering the school compound. Wash your hands with soap and water at the entrance of the school at the sink provided for 20 seconds. Paying attention to the palm and back of your hands, between your fingers and their tips. Dry your hands with a clean tissue and dispose in the closed bin nearby. Boys and girls, your temperature will be tested by an official. Then you will go to the designated waiting area with the floor signs and markings clearly visible, standing or sitting 2 meters or 6 feet apart at all times. It is now time to start your exam. The invigilator will direct you to the examination room. All the best. Boys and girls, playing and gathering are not allowed. Parents, the Ministry of Education thanks you for the support you have given the children during the time at home. However, in the interest of everyone's well-being, you will not be allowed to enter the school compound. Parents and guardians, we are counting on your support in picking up the children promptly after their exam. Remember, the Ministry of Education will provide transport for children who are living far away that require that assistance. Please be reminded that vending outside the school's compound is prohibited. Only authorized canteen vendors with a copy of their food handler certificate and wearing a mask, food gloves, apron, hairnet, and a hat will be allowed. Always remember to wear your mask correctly, wash your hands, and stay safe. And let's win the fight against COVID-19. A message from the Ministry of Education.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. You can prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. If you have the following symptoms: coughing, fever, or difficulty breathing, please stay home. If you don't have these symptoms, then practice social distancing. Avoid crowds. When in a group, keep a distance of at least 3 feet between yourself and other persons. Please wash your hands with soap regularly or use hand sanitizers. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Welcome back. Well, moments before the Chief Election Officer, Keith Lowenfield, was expected to submit his report on the elections to the GCOM chair, he wrote to the chair of GCOM seeking some clarification on her request for him to compile a new report on the election results. In the letter which carried today's date, Mr. Lowenfield told the GCOM chair that he has read the judgment of the Caribbean Court of Justice and he needed some clarification before he goes ahead with any preparation of his final report. He noted that the CCJ endorsed the view that the Guyana Elections Commission cannot determine credibility eligibility, and that would therefore mean that a recount order cannot be executed in its entirety. Lowenfield has further asked for guidance on how Section 96 of the Representation of the People Act could be properly operationalized. He said of particular relevance are two facts. One, that the election law envisages that the votes counted and information furnished will be provided by statutory officers. And two, the allocation of seats is premised on the statutory report of the returning officers. According to Lowenfield, it is noteworthy that the CCJ clearly stated in paragraph 37 of its ruling that the allocation of seats in the National Assembly and the identification of the successful presidential candidate are determined on the sole basis of the votes counted and information furnished by returning officers under the Representation of the People Act. He reminded that the national recount was not undertaken by returning officers. The chief election officer added that the CCJ, in its opinion, also indicated that a recount order is in tension with the Constitution of Guyana and could not create a new election regime. He's asking for guidance on which the results could be lawfully declared. He also told the GCOM chair that the historic practice of the submission of the elections report to the chairman has been premised on ascertainment of the result by the chief election officer. He pointed out that the structure of the chairman's letter, which he described as a missive, suggests a change in operational procedures. He asked the chairman to provide clear guidance as to whether the requested report would be premised on the election laws of Guyana. She has since responded. Well, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, in a statement this afternoon, issued a call for an announcement of the final results of the Guyana elections as soon as possible. Mr. Guterres noted that he has taken note of the Caribbean Court of Justice's ruling in the recent election case, and he believes that there is the need to end the impasse that has lasted more than 4 months. The Secretary General called on all political leaders and their supporters to recognize and accept the final official results and refrain from any act or statement that may fuel tensions or incite violence. Region 8 has now recorded its first cases of the coronavirus. That means that 9 of Guyana's 10 administrative regions have reported cases. The only region not to report a case is Region 5. The Public Health Ministry revealed today that there are 4 new cases following 25 tests that were completed within the past 24 hours. Deputy Chief Medical Officer Dr. Karen Gordon-Boyle said the total number of recoveries now stands at 134. She reminded that persons should still take advantage of the mobile testing units that have been set up across the country.
Fellow Guyanese, I wish to remind you to make use of our mobile testing units and the COVID-19 facilities in your area in the event you are experiencing COVID-related signs or symptoms or have been in close contact with a person who has tested positive. Just remember that the earlier you seek medical assistance, the easier it is for your health personnel to provide the timely care and treatment you need.
And in terms of testing, Dr. Karen Gordon-Boyle said Guyana's testing rate is good. A recent survey conducted by UNICEF has found that a large section of the Guyanese public is no longer fearful of the coronavirus. Dr. Boyle said that may be as a result of the constant messaging about the disease. Still, she said all precautions need to be taken.
As we gear up once again for the weekend, our trips to the markets, the stores, shopping plazas, salons, and barbershops, even a moment's hang on the seawall, please remember the operative words, which are protect yourself, wear a mask, do your business as quickly as possible, and return to the sanctuary of your home. If you do wish to lime on the wall, there is no need to rub each other's shoulders. Keep the distance, sanitize, and most of all, move off to home before 6 o'clock.
Region 1 remains the region with the most active COVID-19 cases. The region has been put on a complete lockdown. Some good news to report now. The PAMS Geriatric Home has announced that its final 3 COVID-19 patients have made full recoveries, but will still spend a few days in the facility's infirmary before being allowed back into their wards. 7 other patients made full recoveries, including a 105-year-old woman. In a statement, the Director of Social Services at the Ministry of Social Protection, Wentworth Tanner, said the dedicated staff and doctors from the Ministry of Public Health are to be praised for the recovery of the patients. He said COVID-19 presented unprecedented challenges to the PAMS and its team, adding that thanks to the perseverance of the staff and the guidance from the Georgetown Hospital, 10 residents have fully recovered, and there are no COVID-19 resident cases currently in the facility. He said the continued health and safety of the residents remain the primary concern. A number of testing and retesting are being done, the official said. The first COVID-19 case at the PAMS passed away before there was confirmation of his positive test result. Well, when airports across the Caribbean region reopen and Caribbean Airlines returns to the friendly skies, its passengers will be required to wear face masks throughout the duration of their flights. In a statement this afternoon, Caribbean Airlines said it is committed to protecting the safety and well-being of its customers and employees in response to the coronavirus pandemic, and therefore it is requiring all customers to wear a face mask or covering throughout their entire journey at all Caribbean Airlines touchpoints from check-in at the airport, departure gate areas, jet bridges, and onboard the aircraft for the duration of the flight. The company has made it clear that the requirement is compulsory, and any refusal to comply shall result in customers being denied boarding by the airline, except in the case of children under the age of 2 years or adults who have a medical condition which prevents them from using a mask. The airline also noted that any special exemptions would need to be endorsed by a medical practitioner and approved by the airline before travel. Caribbean Airlines, which is based in Trinidad and Tobago, has only been operating special cargo flights and repatriation flights since the airports in the region closed back in March. Across the region is coming up next.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Coverdon, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. Getting your workplace ready for COVID-19. Surfaces such as desks, tables, and telephones with keyboards must be wiped with disinfectant regularly, or at least every few hours. Use containers of hand sanitizers and place them in prominent places around the workplace. Provide access to places where staff can wash their hands with soap and water, and promote regular hand washing at the workplace. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Across the region right now, the Antigua and Barbuda government says it has established a travel bubble that will allow citizens from several identified states within CARICOM to travel to the island without the necessity to have a coronavirus test and certificate to be presented upon entry. A statement issued after the weekly cabinet meeting on Thursday noted that citizens from the Sub-Regional Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana and Jamaica will be accorded the privilege of being included in the bubble. The Minister of Information, Melford Nicholas, said while the decision to establish the bubble had been taken at the cabinet level, the Ministry of Health has been tasked with ironing out the details. Meanwhile, the government has said that the Pan American Health Organization has indicated to the Ministry of Health that the vaccine for COVID-19 is not too far off and will be made available to Antigua if it so desires. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has written to CARICOM Secretary General Erwin LaRocque and the Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland, inviting them to send election observers to the upcoming general elections in Trinidad on the 10th of August. In a statement, Mr. Rowley said the letter formally invites both parties to send election missions to observe the Twin Island Republic's processes and operations in the upcoming parliamentary elections. It comes one day after the leader of the main opposition, United National Congress, Kamala Persad-Bosessar, urged the Prime Minister to invite international observer teams to monitor the election process. She said the party is concerned that measures are not in place to ensure citizens are able to exercise their franchise. And finally tonight, international news. Iran has seen a rapid surge in the numbers of coronavirus cases recently, with daily recorded deaths reaching new highs. In mid-June, daily reported deaths went above 100 for the first time in 2 months, and since then the figure has been going up, reaching 221 dead by the 9th of July. New reported infections averaged more than 3,000 a day in the first week of June, a 50% increase in the previous 7 days. The figure reached a high of 3,574 on the 4th of June, before dropping slightly. There have been more than 2,000 cases a day since then in Iran. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.